Hi students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about for loop. So what's a for loop? For loop is another type of looping statement. Here last videos we discussed while, do, while. Another type of loop is a for loop. For loop is more efficient loop structure in C programming. So here this is a syntax of for loop. Why it is said to be more efficient in the sense in a single line we can add three statements. Actually what we will do is we divide these three statements in three different lines: initializing the value, then verifying the condition that will be in the loop, while loop, then incrementing that will be inside the statement. So that was the procedure, right? Listen here. Initialization is in the single statement, is a single statement. Then incrementing is available inside the body of the loop. Then condition checking. So this is the three lines that we wrote in do while loop, and all those statements are considered as a separate line of statement. Separate line of statement. In this case, all these three statements can be added in a single statement. The syntax is like this: for initialize the value, then verify the condition, then increment or decrement. Inside that we will execute the statement, true statement. Okay, so the initial value of the for loop is performed only once. So that, what's the meaning of that? This statement will execute once. Okay, after that this condition will execute, after that increment. So these two cases will execute continuously, because initialization, this is said to be initialization statement. So this statement will execute only once. After that the condition will be verified. After that increment or decrement process will occur. So this is the meaning of that. The initial value of the for loop is performed only once. The condition is a Boolean expression that tests and compares the counter to the fixed value after each iteration, stopping the for loop when false is returned. So this is a comparison process. We have a condition to verify whether this process should execute or not. So for that we will have a condition to verify the process. After that, increment or decrementation, or increases or decreases the counter by a set of values. So these are the three statements that will be available in the for loop. So this is a program for that. Very simple program to print first 1 to 10 numbers. So a number equal to, initially we initialize the value of number equal to 1, then verifying whether the number is less than or equal to 10, then we will increment the value by 1. So what's the process is, first this statement will execute, then verifying the process. Okay, after that it get into the process, into the loop, true statement, execute this statement, then it executes the increment or decrement process part, increment or decrement part of the for loop, and after that verify whether the condition is true. If the condition is true, it comes into the loop. Likewise this process continues. Okay, so this is another example. You can avoid this initialization from this part, okay, this for loop, and you can write it separately with the, but you have to mention it as a semicolon. Okay, usually what we are doing is initialization then semicolon. So once a part will end with a semicolon, then it will be considered as a statement. So for loop is a combination of three statements. It's a combination of three statements. The first one is the initialization, then condition checking, then increment or decrement. If you are not mentioning that one, if you are not mentioning any of these three cases, then what we have to do? We have to remove that part and keep the semicolon there. So in this case, I initialized I equal to 0 in a separate line. So what I did is I enter a semicolon, then after that we are comparing the value with the max value. After that this process will execute. After that increment the process. Okay, we are going to discuss now the a for loop program. Okay, hash include void main. Inside the void main, and just going to print the first 10 values. Okay, so what is the process? First, open bracket. So for loop should starts with the open bracket and a closing bracket. Inside this open bracket we have three statements. First one is initialization statement. Okay, I am assigning num equal to 1. Okay, what's the condition? We have to print the value up to 10. So num should less than or equal to, including 10 we have to print. Okay, condition verification also completed. Then we are going to increment the value of num by 1. Okay, so we are using the variable num. Initially we have to declare num. Okay, inside this loop we are going to print. Actually, if you have to execute a particular statement, only one statement inside the loop, then you no need to put the braces or parentheses. Okay, percentage %d. So we are going to print integer value comma num. Okay, let me check what's happening. So save the program. Okay, we are going to run the program. Okay, here this is output 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so we have to align this output to an understandable manner. Okay, by /n. Okay, now we are getting an output like this. Okay, so this is a process. So I can write this, I can avoid this statement here, okay, by mentioning a semicolon, and I initialize the value separately. So let me check what's happening here. Okay, we are getting the same result because that is the facility that we have here. Here we have num equal to 1. Okay, that initialization I made it separately in a single line, so I avoided this one. And one more thing that I can do is I can remove this one also. Okay, and I can add the increment statement inside the loop. That also possible. Okay, now just run the program. So we are getting the same kind of a result. So the meaning is you can write it in a different way. A for loop can be so you can avoid this num equal to 1. Okay, you can mention like this, num equal to 1 without a increment or decrement part inside the for loop. You can write it separately and execute the program. Okay, this is a statement here, result here. Okay, we are getting the result. So this is a different way of writing a program using for loop. Okay, now we are going